Hey, Randy Joe here, and welcome back to Art Pop April, the series where we are listening to different art pop albums throughout the month of April. And today, of course, you saw the title, we are listening to Kate Bush's monumental 1985 record, Hounds of Love. This is typically considered one of her best. I think it was the most commercially, popular as well as one of her most critically acclaimed records. I'm not sure if it is the most critically acclaimed. However, I do know it is wildly popular among fans and critics alike. So with that being said, I have only heard the first track, How Can You Not, at 1.1 billion streams. I feel like it'd be pretty hard to make it, 20 years into your life and not hear this record. But of course, it was made even more popular from Stranger Things, which had it pretty heavily in season 4. That being said, let's just jump into it. Running Up That Hill, I Deal With God, the opening track. I will say, after this track, I don't think I've heard any of the other songs here, so those will be new. Very unique vocal on her part. How many singers I feel like kind of remind me of her? Oh, and that cycling sound in the background kind of adding to a madness in the track. I love that steady percussion. Maybe some sort of drum machine. Oh, that backup self-harmonizing. What a pummeling drum in the background there, just like a galloping horse. And it just splashes into that chorus. Oh. I just love the way it all starts to escalate, swirl together here. Such an explosion of sound there. It's been a minute since I've heard this track, but I don't remember such a monumental sound. Great layering too on this track. The arrangement is top tier. And what a powerful track to kick off the album. Such a dark mystery. Kind of reminds me of Fever Ray there with that vocal. Very manipulated. A great track to kick things off. At 5 minutes, it is a powerful track kicking off the album. Let's go right into Hounds of Love, the title track.
In the trees. It's coming.
I like that sample that was mixed in there. I didn't expect that. Such a strong personality to the album so far. Those oohs, kind of like hounds. Kind of like they're howling for her in a way. Oh, I didn't expect this orchestral element on the left side here. Seems like she's afraid to embrace this love. Despite the fact that this man in question here seems to be one of purity. Maybe because she doesn't trust a man after her last betrayal. That's what I'm gathering here. Very unconventional song structures too. It's it's not like a verse chorus verse type thing. Definitely seems very abstract in its delivery. This is really escalating. Kind of got a baroque element in a way to it. Similar to that first track, again, it has that slowly enveloping sound that really just blossoms in that second half there. Another fantastic track. I like the kind of unconventional structure as it kind of bloomed, and great layering, great use of Those oohs in the background kind of sounding like, from what I can gather, like these hounds kind of yipping towards her. And a track just about running away from love, from what I'm gathering here. Here's The Big Sky, the special single mix. Hopefully that's not different from the norm. We'll just check it out. Certainly has an 80s sound to it, but it doesn't feel outdated like a lot of 80s music I find does. It really comes down to production choices. Rock in the 80s was really rocky. No pun intended. But the production was not the sharpest. Really girthy bass line in the background there. Oh. I like that riff. It's heavy. It's got a nice drop to it. Again, that bass line is so thick in the background along with this heavy riff. Dun, 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 dun. Very religiously themed track. Focused on the sky and Noah and the Ark. Some strong experimental elements to her sort of musicianship. Also kind of reminds me of just Brian Eno in a production sense. That it's so like bombastic, but easy to take in. Reminiscent of his record, Another Green World. Oh my goodness. She does an amazing job at doing just like massive walls of sound that aren't overbearing and overproduced. Very clean walls of sound, which I'm a sucker for. Oh, no, we got these backup vocals. I like these gospel elements. What a massive sort of passage this feels like. It sounds like we've got ourselves a long fade out. Very optimistic sort of sound to it. Beautiful track. Perhaps, I want to say my favorite. I just love the way that really took hold in that back half. But the whole thing, just so bombastic. Mother Stands for Comfort. We're just going to continue on to this one. Really great walls of sound so far on all these tracks, but especially on The Big Sky. A lot of sound effects, too, at play in this record. Again, these really weird twisted synths do remind me of Brian Eno in the 70s. Very atmospheric, this LP is so far. Just like a strong, mystical, ethereal tone to it. Much slower track here, more plodding sound to it. Oh, those distant howls. A nice come down track after that loud cacophony of sound that was The Big Sky. Lyrically, not the most dense, but I love its delicate nature up against this pretty simplistic yet beautifully produced instrumental. Very otherworldly. Cloud busting's this one here. So to say that the name Cloud Busting, I'm expecting the dream sequence and kicking off with that lyric there. I do like these orchestral elements too. feel like we're just being teased from them. Oh, good melody. Sounds familiar, but digging those strings. Oh, I don't know, we're elevating. What's this track about? I'm not too sure. God, it's such a pummeling sound though. It's like a berating, a beating. But it's also super upbeat. Na, na, na. Almost sounds like those synths are saying something. Am I tripping here? It's like there's like a vocal mix in. Am I crazy? God, I'm loving this track too. It's like they just get better and better. 5 tracks in, not a single bad track for sure. Not even a single weak track. God, these drumming. Like a marching band. Which I'm also a sucker for. Oh my goodness, the layering in this album. The layering in this album. The arrangements. Oh my goodness. It just gets better and better. Okay, we gotta pause this for a second. Another, like, that's a perfect track. Those arrangements in that second half, the way it all just comes together, upbeat, but it's slow, but it's super anthemic and fun, but it has so much depth as well. And I gotta say, 5 tracks in, Running Up That Hill, by far the most popular. Pretty clear, I think it's her most popular track in general. Yes, it is, by a wide margin. And it could be a hot take. Maybe it's because, you know, I'm just hearing it for the first time. But some of these tracks, like Cloud Busting, for example, and The Big Sky, to me, are better than Running Up That Hill. Are deserving of more streams than Running Up That Hill. Not a dig at Running Up That Hill, another great track. But Cloud Busting, I'm busting. That's what I'm saying. Maybe don't put that in. Maybe I will. And Dream of Sheep. Let's continue with this because this is a great LP so far. Loving every second of it. 2 minutes, 45 seconds. A rather short track in comparison to the rest here. Nice piano. Stripping things back a little bit. I love that. See, sampling like that back in the 80s in rock music, certainly a little bit more out there artistically. Oh, the way she employs those effects with the lyrics. You can hear the gulls. This one's really just like a beautiful piano ballad. Really from the heart. It's gentle acoustic too. Is that a flute? Really great, again, such a dense arrangement despite being such a short track, but not overlapping like some of these other tracks. It's very, very gentle. I like this track, especially after that last one. It really brings things down. At this point, I'm seeking out, when does this album take a turn? Because boy, oh boy, 6 tracks in. Let's go right into Under Ice. It flows beautifully right into it. These strings. A little bit more twisted. Oh. Oh, her voice. Much deeper here. Reminds me a lot of Fever Ray. I wonder how much Fever Ray was influenced by Kate Bush now that I'm thinking about it. I like this one. A nice twisted turn from that last one, which was a little bit more melancholic. Sounds like she's trying to escape this inner turmoil here. Oh my goodness. What a vocal. Feels like tracks 6 and 7 act as a kind of bridge in the LP.
Wake up.
Ugh. What a great track that was. Again, very brooding, very twisted, very disturbed. A nice shift in tone from that slower, more melancholic, depressive In Dream of Sheep. But it certainly feels like it's a continuation of it. Waken the Witch is this one here. She the Witch? Is this a concept album? Am I missing a concept that's running throughout here?
Come on. Wake up.
All these different vocals. Again, really well produced. You can hear them.
But see your little lights alight.
You can hear them right where they're placed. Getting up. Chill.
Can you not see that little light up there? There.
This is a track about Salem, perhaps? Am I taking it too literally? What is this, like, glitch pop twist we just had? Oh my goodness, this is one of the most shocking LPs I've reacted to on this channel in a while. God, that felt like whiplash. How she ever achieved any sort of mainstream sort of focus is shocking to me. Not that she doesn't deserve it, but certainly a unique figure. This very much seems like it's about the witches of Salem. Is this some Latin? Kind of tying into that witch theme. God, it's so glitchy. It's so trippy. This is insane. A nauseating, sickening delivery. The guy saying, "Damn you, woman," is he someone trying to prosecute this witch? Oh my goodness. It's like we're experiencing her execution. Wake of the witch, alluding to her death. Maybe I'm incorrect, but I believe that it's about the witch trials, when they would accuse a woman of being a witch and then drown her, and if she died, then she was a witch, and if she confessed she was a witch, it was like a catch-22. You lost either way. Terrible time to be alive. Not a good time to be a woman. But when was it? Watching You Without Me. I just want to say Waking the Witch was a nauseating, sickening, twisted track. But I think that perfectly captures the themes of it. But again, carrying on, Watching You Without Me is this one here. Maybe we'll go into a bit more of a regular territory, but I'm not too sure. Maybe the second side of the LP is the experimental side, which I love some experimental music. Very atmospheric track. I feel like we're underwater with this one. I feel like we're in a underwater video game soundtrack. You know what I'm talking about? If you're a gamer, it's got that aquatic tone. Oh. I like this clanging. Got a little wind chime effect, but also the way her voice is dragged. Almost sounds reversed. Maybe it is reversed. This might be the best LP I've heard for Art Pop April, and I feel like I've been saying that with every album I've heard yet. It's like they just get better and better. A beautiful genre. What is that? I love when she does that, when she uses those chopped vocals. Are very ahead of its time. God, that's such a unique and bold decision artistically at the time that I feel like you're really just seeing a lot more nowadays, whether it be pop or hip hop, especially. Jig of Life, bring it back to, I believe, her Irish roots. Oh boy, that is some strong Irish elements. Scandinavian. This is certainly a stylistic change, but oh, really taking that traditional Irish jig and adding her own flair to it, for sure. A great performer. The way she performed Never There, that deep growl in her vocal. She is certainly a bold singer. Doesn't play it safe. If it wasn't clear enough. Oh, let's bring it down. More traditional route. Loving this.
I put this moment here. I put this moment here.
For me?
I put this
For us?
over here.
Over here. Can't you see where memories are kept bright, tripping on the
God.
water like a laughing girl? Time in a
What do we got here singing?
Past life, run on the upper strand.
Jesus. It's like that wall of sound, but with an Irish jig to it. I like that one. I feel like out of all of them, maybe the stylistic left turn of it is the biggest drawback of it. You know, it's still great on its own. And I won't hold it as a fault because, hey, you're putting out an album of this magnitude, a little bit of a little stylistic difference. It's not too bad. Hello Earth. Just pure quality so far. We're in outer space for this one, I think, given those intercoms there. Today's Earth Day, I think, actually. So shout out to Earth. Ooh. It's like these Victorian, religious sort of backdrop here. An artist I can't predict at all. She's just throwing curveballs. Get out of the waves, get out of the water. A callback line to an earlier track. Seems like there's certain threads that go back and forth on this record. Maybe back to cloud busting, that line. Lots of callbacks on this track here. Maybe acting as a climax to the album. Oh my goodness, and we're coming back down. Back down to earth. Oh my goodness, and then... Is it, German? At 6 minutes, I will say the constant change in tone makes it feel both shorter and longer. Maybe... I don't know. Maybe I'm grasping at straws here. Maybe this whole witch narrative carries throughout the album. Let's just go right into that last track here. The Morning Fog. A very sudden, upbeat shift here. We'll close it out with a upbeat, almost credits-like track. Well, I like the way she compounded do and you. Maybe that's just a regional thing. The bass throughout this album too has been really nice and just thick throughout, especially on this track here. It really gives kind of like the vibe of a almost victory lap or like a credits to a show or to a theater-esque performance. Has a nice triumphant finish. And that closes out the album. And I gotta say, let's just close it there. The Morning Fog, probably the weakest, but I mean, to be fair, it is kind of just feels like a closing track. Not in a bad way. It's just quite brief when you compare it to these much thicker, larger-than-life tracks. I gotta say, this is probably one of the greatest listens I've heard for an album. In a bit, I know I feel like I say that with quite a few of the albums I've heard this year, but God, every track here blew my mind. And I could not predict where she was going artistically. You know, I feel like a lot of artists, you can sort of get a rhythm, get an identity with them, but Kate Bush, my first experience with her in terms of a full-length album, and I gotta say, like, there is no predicting where she's gonna go, whether it be the production or her vocal arrangements or just the, you know, instruments that she's gonna employ. Some, like, very futuristic elements, like the very glitchy elements in the track. Which one was it? Watching You Without Me, I think it was. You know, some of the more ominous religious elements, like on Hello Earth, with that deep, sort of Victorian style, church-like kind of backdrop that kind of came in and out of that track. It's like you're going from the past to the future constantly on this album, and yet there's such a concrete identity to it that feels very mystical, mythical, and overall just otherworldly, heavenly in some ways, but also twisted, like you're maybe in some sort of purgatory. But I gotta say, a beautiful album. I am so glad I listened to this one. I did not expect it. I went into it completely blind, other than that first track, which of course we all know, but still, it's like I'm speechless, to be completely honest with you. And it's like I thought they couldn't get better. Every track I thought, no way can they top this. No way can she top this. And she did. Every time I felt like she just put it into a different perspective and direction. I don't rate albums at the end of a listen. I like to listen to them a few times, but if I were to rate this one, like, this is probably the closest record I've heard where instantly I'm like thinking like this is a 10. Like, this is changing the way I think about what one can do when approaching a piece of music, because it's so conceptual. It's such a whole record, yet at the same time these tracks work so individually. Yeah, that's Hounds of Love. Amazing record. Let's just close it out there at a high note. If you want to suggest an art pop album, go ahead, throw it down below. I will check it out. I don't know if you could really suggest anything that's going to top this, but go ahead and suggest it anyway. I do like some variation here. So yeah, subscribe, like, follow along, listening to albums alongside myself. And as always, my name is Randy Joe, and I'm signing off.